So in last video, we saw how the data is getting indexed, where it is getting stored, and how to see the disk storage, how to check the license usage per source as well, right? So and also we saw like where are the executables. In this video, we will discuss about how to set up the monitoring console. So yeah, we are going to set up like multiple management console in one server, which is a management console. So that's why it is named as a management console, but this name is not necessarily need to be same. You can say management server, something like that. We can keep it, but monitoring console is the component name. So management console is just like my reference. You can give anything you want. Basically, I'm going to use this server, this one server, for all the management activities, deployment server, deployer, everything. So that's why I name it as a management console. Now let's start setting up the monitoring console, right? So basically, before we're setting up, like we have to create service credentials from indexer and search it. Let's go and create one by one. Okay, just yeah. So in this server and this document, you can follow this one. So I already have a Splunk Enterprise installed here. So if you want, you can follow the day 3 document. In the day 3 document, we have a step-by-step explanation of how to install Splunk Enterprise. And now I also set up the banner, global banner. And now what is next? Yeah, create service credential, service admin credentials in both indexer and searcher. So in our environment, currently we have only searcher and indexer. Forwarder is a universal forwarder. So universal forwarder, we won't connect directly. So first let's understand how to connect searcher and indexer with monitoring console, right? So for that, let me go to the searcher first and create a service credentials, service admin credentials, you can say, and click on new user, and you can name it as a service underscore name. You can name whatever you want, but this is my way of renaming naming it because it will be easy to remember. So password, I'm giving password, confirm the password, and yeah, you can unselect the required password change, and yeah, you can make sure that admin credential, admin role is assigned, and click on acknowledge the user something, and click on save. So now admin credentials, service admin credentials got created in search it. And let's go and create it in indexer. But in indexer, we already have the service admin credentials. When we were connecting searcher and indexer, we already did create it. So it is there. So make sure you just go and check. Maybe if it is deleted or something, you just go and check. So in indexer also we have service admin credentials. In searcher also we have service admin credentials. So now we have to connect these indexer and searcher to the monitoring console, right? How do we do that? Let's go to the monitoring console, the management console instance, settings and monitoring console. And yeah, this is where the configurations, everything will be displayed. So you can, to add the indexer and searcher, you can go to settings and distributed search and click on like add new in the search peer. So here you have to add it. This is same as like how we connected searcher and indexer. The similar way we are going to connect it here. So now for monitoring console, we have to add searcher and indexer. We have to take the private IP, right? So let's go and take the searched private IP. So select the searched and yeah, open the tab. You see there is a private IP. There is the reason like why are we using private IP. I'll discuss it later. But now for all the connections between the components, please try to use private IP because private IP won't change it whenever you restart. Okay. So I'm taking this private IP. I'm going to the management console, https:// This is important. This is, you have to give it in this format. If you give it in a different format, it won't work. Private IP : 8089. That is important. Don't give 8000, it won't work. So service admin, user name and password. Password. Yeah, click on save. Yeah, now it is saying like replication status is initial and health status is healthy. Refresh and see if replication status is successful. Then it means it is connected, right? And now let's add the indexer as well. Click on new search peer and copy the indexer IP address. This is indexer IP address and https colon double slash indexer IP colon 8089 and that username. So this username is created in the indexer. So I kept the same credentials, I'm giving same. But if you create two different credentials in searcher and indexer, give the corresponding credentials. Don't confuse, then it won't work. Okay. Confirm password, clicking on save. Yeah, this is also initial and okay, it takes a while. Okay, it says in progress. This alert is something you can ignore because it's, yeah, we have a less resources, right? So don't worry about it. Yeah, it says successful. So this means indexer and search hits, they both are connected, right? So now we have to set up monitoring console. Like now we connected the components, but we haven't enabled the monitoring console. To enable the monitoring console, go to settings, monitoring console, and go again here in this page we have a settings. Go to general setup, and yeah, by default monitoring console is in a standalone mode, so we have to enable it. I mean, we have to enable the distributed mode. So click on continue. Yeah, now you see whatever we connected, like we just connected search and indexer, right? It is populating here, and the top one is this instance, it is the monitoring console itself. So you see like there is no the instance host name is set up, like this is not proper. So you have to inform your Linux team to set up the OS level. If not, we have to set up on our own. That's okay, you can set it up. Now this is the monitoring console and we have to change the server role. So monitor for monitoring console, there is no separate server role in Splunk. So you can keep it as a search it because that is also searching, right? So similar the set of functionalities like monitoring console also has a set of default dashboards, and search it's also having a dashboard. So that is the reason we are keeping monitoring console role as a search it, because that is also going to do searching, right? And remaining things you can unselect. There is nothing you need. I mean, at this point of time, this instance is going to act as a monitoring console alone. So I'm just keeping search it, saving it, right? And so you see in the indexer, we have license manager KV store. Let's clean up. Indexer should have only indexer. Yeah. And the search it again, search it, edit. Search it should have search it, and KV store it can be because we are going to use the KV store in some time. So we can keep search it and KV store and click on save. Okay, what happened? It didn't work. Did I disable the KV? Oh yeah, I mistakenly disabled. Yeah. Oh, I clicked it here. Okay. So yeah, make sure you keep a searcher indexer and index. Sorry, searcher and KV store for searcher, indexer role for indexer, searcher role for monitoring console. Okay. Now click on apply changes. Yeah, it will throw some error. That's fine. Don't worry about it. So go to, you can click on refresh or we can go to overview. So I'm clicking on refresh just to make sure that the rules are properly applied. So once it is applied, once you confirm, then you can go to overview at this top left, and here you should see one indexer and two search hits. One indexer, yeah, we have one indexer, two search hits. You remember I was saying like for monitoring console also we are assigning a role called search hit. So that's the reason in overview it is showing two search hits we have, but technically we have one search hit, one monitoring console. Okay, yeah, this is the overview. Next, we are going to discuss about what are the default alerts which we can enable using monitoring console. So the purpose of monitoring console is to monitor our infrastructure, right? So Splunk by default gave some set of alerts using which we can monitor our infrastructure, some critical, metrics you can say. So for that, we can go to settings and alert setup. Here I think, yeah, 8 alerts by default, 8 alerts Splunk created, and they just kept it in a disabled state because if we want it we will enable it, if not we'll just keep it, as it is. Now you see here, the first one is DMC alert. DMC means it's a distributed monitoring console. That's what DMC refers. Okay, DMC alert, abnormal state of indexer processor. So right, in indexer, like we have indexing pipeline, in that indexer we have indexing process. If there is any abnormal behavior, we'll get an alert. So that's what it is. If you want to understand like what is it, and you can go to advanced edit and you can find out all the options and the query and everything. You can run it in search. If you want to understand how the logic goes, what is it? See, this is the query. I'm not going into detail. Okay, this is how you can go and open the search. If you want to enable, you can just click on this enable and you can click on enable it. So before enabling it, understand what is this alert, how often it runs, everything, then you enable it. Okay. So like this, we have a critical system physical memory usage, right? Like because we are processing a data, sometimes each component might have, have a higher memory usage. As a data, as a Splunk admin, we have to understand like if any component is utilizing more memory, then we have to optimize or we have to fix the resource consumption. And soon to expired licenses, this is, I would suggest enable this on your infrastructure, keep it, because like sometimes like if you didn't notice the when is the alert, I mean a license is going to expire, it might cause a lot of issues. Okay, this is the one alert I would recommend you to keep it by default enabled. Okay, and missing forwarders, yeah, this is also everyone is asking, like this is like as an admin it will help you, license is as a company it will help you. So most of the times like forwarders will stop sending the data because of network issue or because of like a server side problem, many things, right? So you can enable this so that if any data flow breaks, then you will get an alert. So that is also a good alert. Next one is the critical disk usage. Of course, obviously, this is for like a indexer specifically. So if indexer is getting more data and the disk is full, and right, like if the disk space is completely full, Splunk will stop. So we don't want that to happen, right? We don't want our server to get stopped without any notice. So we are going to configure this alert, and this alert will alert you for 80% of your disk capacity. If any server exceeds 80% of disk capacity, it will alert. So the description is mentioned here. I'm just giving some little background. And saturated even processing queues. Exactly. So if this occurs, like most of the time when you're onboarding the data, suddenly there'll be huge data will come in. So that time, if any even processing queue is saturated, then you will get an alert. Okay, it's just like see last 15 minutes. If it is 90% or more, then it will alert. And search peer not responding. Yeah, so this will be like one of the another critical alert, because this is related to user. When user is running a search, if the indexer is not responding, the data is not coming, so then user might think like Splunk is down. So this is also one of the, before user reports, you have to get this alert and you have to know it. Okay, and yeah, total license usage near daily quota, this is also one of the, because if you don't monitor your license usage daily, you're going to get a violation or warning. So as an admin, this will be important for you. Nobody else will be interested, because you are the one at the end who's going to answer. If license quota exceeds, everyone will be behind you. So these are all the some of the important alerts you by default Splunk gave it to you. We can just enable it. I would suggest enable all the alerts if your monitoring console has capacity. But at least if you are not able to do it, enable some important alerts like the index processor, a license expiry, and the license usage, these kind of things. But I prefer to enable everything. Okay, it's up to you. And let's say you want to monitor few other things also, you want to configure a new alerts also, like for a different, see now disk usage and memory usage only we don't have anything for CPU usage, right? Let's say if you want to create CPU usage, you can create a new alert by just visiting to say settings and saved searches, reports and alerts, and you can create a new alert here and you can configure it. Say alert is nothing but it's a saved search. Here you can create a new alert, then this will be listed on the monitoring console. Okay, but yeah, queries and all you are going to define it. So the default alerts also will come under this one. You see here it is listed, right? Alerts, it is listed DMC alert. Like this you can create another alert as well. Next what we are going to discuss is health check items. So this is one of the main functionality which monitoring console has its own. Let me go to the monitoring console, and you see there's a health check, the navbar, can click on that health check, and these are all the default health check items which monitoring console does in the backend. Like we have connected all the indexer and search head, right? So what the monitoring console does is it connects with each and every instance like search head indexer, and it runs a set of validation checks. So based on that validation checks, it populates the results here. Basically, this is running on all the servers. Okay. So to start that, we can click on start and it does automatically. You don't need to do anything. Just like it does all the health check by default. See, it is already started populating, started complaining. And you see some of the things are not applicable for our infrastructure, so it just skips it. Okay, yeah. So once it is completed, it will pre-sort the values for us. So if there is any errors, it will be on the top. Now you see it says local indexing or non-indexing indexer instances. You can find the description here. It says blah blah blah. It's actually very good information. You also have reference links you can go. So like this, you have to do daily health checks. So in big companies, this health check will happen daily. Morning they will keep it as, sometimes whenever the admin feels like the environment something is wrong, they will first do this check. This is a basic checks, you can say basic health check. If everything is good here, then you will go and check it in your logs and everything. So now here itself we have all the problems. You see here, assessment of server u limits. So in this we have u limits issues, right? So what is recommended, though it is like the u limited open files are fine, the user process is not up to what we are it is expected, right? So we have to fix this. So before fixing this, if you even if you go to log files and debug, it won't help you, because this is the big issue. Because of this there will be like side effects, you can say side effects will come. So that is the reason, always do this health check first and then go to other debugging things. And also it has like a default separate tab separated. You can just go and click and you can see. Yeah, that's it. And if you want to, let's say Splunk released a new health check items, because every release they will add a new health check items. If you want to update, you can just click on update and you can just download the new package and you can upload, or you can just log in and it will update the latest health checks. If you want to add a new health check on by yourself, right, you can go to settings and click on health check items, and you can add a new health check items, and you see there is a lot of different options you can explore, and you can add a new health check items. That's it.